So anger isn't just a one-off, let's just be angry about something. That would be nice, right? That would be nice if you could just be anger and then for a moment and then your anger is done and you are totally fine. But that's not really what happens. You see, what's interesting too is if you go back and if you research any of Dr. Henry Wright's work, The More Excellent Way. In some of his teachings, he spoke about how in conflict, when there's anger and any type of emotional tension, it lingers within the female about 25% longer than it does within a man. So let's say that you take, just for the sake of current day sports, let's say that you take Spurs and Knicks, and you have two people from each team. And then they have a disagreement, and then they go out, they might fight it out, and then they come back, and then they might be drinking beer together. Women don't do that. Women will carry that and think of all the ways, now not most women, but some women might think of all the ways that they can slash tires, that they can really do some not right things, because the anger is still lingering. So when anger lingers in the body, it continues to react and respond. It doesn't just stop. So if you were to tell someone, hey, calm down, and they're angry, that doesn't ever work. So men, I'm sure you probably have attempted to, your wife is upset, or your girlfriend is upset, your sister's upset, and you think you're going to tell them to calm down, that's going to do anything. It is not. You already know this, but it's going to exacerbate, because the body is already ahead of any form of logic, and anything you say will only start a new argument at a higher level of conflict. You don't want to do that. So even when the conflict is over, it still is moving in the body. The body is still needing to recover, which is why some people might need a nap after a conflict, which this again is where in the Bible it tells us, and a quarrel before it starts, because the physical response will be evident. Now, what's also interesting is that for people that are either born into a generation of angry people, okay, so anger is generational, so you might have a generational curse of anger, okay, so my mother was angry, my mother's mother was angry, and everyone in my family's been angry. Maybe that's you, that's a generational curse. You can break that so that you aren't living with it and then importing it into your children. But the other thing, and yes, anger is a spirit, and people often will go to deliverance ministers and then believe, well, the spirit is cast out, but then why are we still angry? Because there's other elements that still need to be dealt with. We still have to deal with the healing of the anger, unforgiveness, resentment, bitterness, irritability, and all of the other things emotionally that would still be inherent. So casting out a demon, yes, is relevant. However, we still have to finish the job, we may say. So for the person who lives in anger and is just angry, their body tells that story. What happens then? Well, the body, or the story within the body, is that it starts to create inflammation. The body never stops firing, because the body is built up an entirely new system. It's kind of like we're trying to defrag a computer, but the body has been overtaken. So as chronic inflammation, the adrenaline glands, or the adrenal glands, continue to release everything. It's just a continuous dump. It's a dump right into the bloodstream, continuously within 0.1 seconds, continuous. This again is why in the book of Proverbs 22:24, it tells us to make no friends with an angry person. Why? because that person is always angry. In today's society, you really have to look and pick and choose, who am I friends with? Because that toxicity tends to transfer over. And an angry person, you can't reason with them, number one, because the logic is gone. The body's already filled with the triglycerides, body's already overtaken with the adrenaline and the cortisol and the norepinephrine and the epinephrine, so you can't reason with them. There's nothing that you can say or do that's going to change that atmosphere. It's just an angry atmosphere, and you going into that atmosphere is going to only transform that toxicity onto you.